making...
Well, what are you doing today, Violet?
Making macarons.
With?
Heather.
So we have to measure everything out because macarons are really finicky. If you get off by just a few grams, it will totally botch your batch. And then we have to clean all of the pans and the whisk and the bowl with vinegar because oil will make it flop. The meringue won't work. So we use vinegar to wipe everything down before we get started. So yeah, that's the plan.
I love the smell of vinegar.
Is that your favorite? My kids hate it. It's all part of the process. Let's take that. And then over on, we'll start with the sheet pans over here.
Okay.
So we'll usually use 3 for this size.
What kinds are we making?
Well, that is the question for you. So
Oh.
we do have just the base recipe. If we wanted to, we could make chocolate, or we could do like a spice. We could add a cinnamon or something if you wanted, or just plain. The frosting is really where most of the flavor ends up coming from anyway, and we're gonna do that while these are cooking.
Hey.
So what you're gonna do is take this guy, and these mats tend to absorb oil. So you have to wipe down where the macarons are gonna be, and then it's good to go. So
Just not the trays or anything, just the mats?
Yeah, just the mats.
Okay.
Would you go tell Annabelle to come on down?
Okay.
So then we're gonna do the same thing. We'll wipe down all the tines and this part right here.
I don't like your hair.
Okay, so 4 ingredients in macarons: egg whites, white sugar, powdered sugar, and almond meal. And have you used a kitchen scale before?
No.
A food scale? So this is kitchen scale. So turn it on. And we use grams when we measure for this recipe. And we will let's do the egg whites first. It's the messiest part. So we need 127 grams of egg whites. And what I usually do, so you don't want the yolk has fat in it, and any oil or fat will make the meringue not rise, the bubbles won't form. So we have to be really careful with our egg whites. If we end up with egg yolk in here, we'll have to throw the whole batch away and start again. Yeah, so we usually crack them into a bowl and then dump them in.
Okay, that's good because I'm bad at cracking eggs.
So my trick, I hit against another egg. It tends to open it easier. So if you hit it here, and then you're gonna open it, I'm gonna have a discard bowl over here, and you pour the whole egg into your hand and let the yolk kind of fall off the white. And then we'll pour this into the bowl.
Catastrophic
You got this.
failure on recording. Woo!
There you go. So stick your thumbs in and pull it apart. There you go. And sometimes the shell will break the yolk, so you want to try to keep it off the edges. There you go.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you need to, you can pinch this part to break it.
Very thick.
Yeah. And now that made a hole in it, so the rest of it will sort of fall off. Yay! And then you can take that bowl and dump the egg white in. Awesome. So what are we at? 55. We need to get to 127. So we have quite a few more to go. Yep. Your fingers are going to be super messy.
Shoot.
Well done.
Usually I'm really bad at this.
Awesome. So we'll probably just need part of that, maybe the whole one. Stick your thumbs in and pull it sideways.
Oh boy.
There
Had
you
to be
go.
one that didn't turn out so well.
142. Yep, that's okay. So the fun thing is you stick your fingers in there and you can pull some out until you get the right amount. So
There you
that's
go.
120. I know it seems silly, but that exact amount is important.
There you go.
Awesome. So I will throw these away. Go ahead and wash your hands. Let's do the sugar next. We'll put this over here. So I heat up the oven at the beginning of the process because you really need it to be an even temperature. And your preheat, even though it says it's preheated, doesn't mean the whole oven is the same temperature. If you hit the tare button right there,
It automatically sets the
zero it
bowls.
out. Exactly. So we need the same amount of sugar. So we need 127.
So I don't need both sugar and powdered sugar.
I know.
Seems overkill. Okay.
They have a different purpose. So the powdered sugar we mix in with the almond meal, and it's just a finer blend. And this one we whip. That's okay, just take some right back out. Awesome. Put that one back in. So this one we're gonna whip up with egg whites. And so they'll get a lot of motion to help dissolve them. But the powdered sugar, we hand stir in with the almond meal into the meringue when it's already done. So there's not as much motion to dissolve that
So
sugar.
it needs to be finer.
It needs to be finer. Okay, in this drawer here, the bottom or the middle one,
Oh, sorry.
we need 2 bowls, and those are my 2 favorite bowls to use. Okay, and a sieve. Okay, so we are going to 3 times sift the powdered sugar and almond meal back and forth. They have to be really light and blended really well, and then we also throw away any big pieces of the almond meal. So let's do the powdered sugar first. So this one, we need 150 grams.
Okay.
We'll put it right into the sifter.
Do I just...
You can actually measure the whole thing, and then we'll shake it. We'll clean up at the end. It's fine.
Still nice not to waste.
So that's the whole first 150. So we're good on powdered sugar. And then the almond meal, we need 173. So we'll tear that out again.
Let's see. 150 as well?
173.
73. How did someone come up with this? Like all these precise measurements? Just
A lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
A lot of trial and error.
Just thought, hey, I think I'll throw these things together in this precise order.
Right? Okay, so 4 more grams. So just a little tap on the spoon as you dust it over. Come on, there we go. Perfect. I will take that. Go ahead and put that in that bowl, and then you can shake. We'll move it off the scale. It's easier. So hold the bowl and shake side to side.
This way. Oh boy, this is gonna take a while. Whoop.
I'm going to show you how I do it, and then I will let you try.
Oh gosh, sorry.
The other way you can do it is with a spoon, and you can go around like this.
That looks nicer. Won't leaving out the big chunks mess with the measurements?
You would think it would, but the recipe has been
or does
honed
it-
to include removing a little bit of it.
Oh, so it compensates.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so from here, what I would do is give it that shake, 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 because it's gonna leave a few of the big pieces. I'm gonna use the back of the spoon and crush those bigger, because they're just lumps full of little ones. But you'll see there's some bigger chunks.
Yeah.
So if you take that over to the garbage and tap it into the garbage can. There you go. Perfect. And then bring it on back over. And then put it here.
Oh boy.
And we're gonna do it all over again, but we can do it in halves this time. So I'm mixing them because most of the powdered sugar was on the bottom. But this will be easier for your wrist if we only do part of it at a time. So give that a little shake. Much easier when there's less.
Yeah.
There we go.
Solid going into nowhere.
We can make a well.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. And see, this time it's mostly powdered sugar that has
sticky.
lumps. If your hand was wet and you touched the powdered sugar, that would make sense.
Oh.
There you go. Give it a little shake. And then do the same thing. Tap out at the garbage. You do it 3 times.
Yep.
You do the first one, second one, and then one final sifting. Perfect. See all those little bits?
Yeah.
We will probably end up throwing those away.
Cold herd. That's probably not the right metaphor.
Perfect. And then dump those out. And that is good to go. And then this is ready. It looks all nice and homogeneous.
Yeah.
So we'll put it over here. So we've got our 3 ingredients. 4 ingredients, 2 of them are mixed. And we're ready to whip. So this is the tilt head one. So you just tip it up and then it goes on and off. Here, there's little rings. So you just twist it and now it's not going anywhere.
Nice.
Put it down and then I lock it. And on this side is our speed. And we end up whipping it on medium mostly. And this is the part that takes a little while. One of the parts. So we'll flip it on. We also use cream of tartar. It helps the meringue stabilize.
What do you mean stabilize?
So meringue notoriously wants to, all the bubbles want to pop. So this will help the bubbles not pop. And we do kind of a heaping 1/8 of a teaspoon. So I'll let you put that in. You want that cream of tartar to blend a little bit in. But when we start seeing it kind of, it's frothy, then we're gonna start adding the sugar. But we have to add it slowly. Otherwise it won't dissolve properly. So after it looks bubbly, we're gonna start adding it, and we add it like that much at a time. Let it go for a minute, add a little bit more, let it go. So I'll let you do it. If you wanted to, you can do it with a spoon, but I usually just tip the bowl. So we'll end up putting the sugar in, and it'll take 1 to 2 minutes to get it all in and dissolved. Oops. Like it'll get squirted in, so I'm gonna turn that up to about 4, and then it will start to splash out there and pick up those pieces.
I actually really like the vanilla ones you make.
Perfect. These are my blender containers, but I use them really for this because they're nice and big. So we can totally do vanilla. That's really easy.
Are we able to do multiple flavors?
Like for the shell or the buttercream?
The buttercream.
So we could do like a vanilla, and then we could put like jam in the middle as like a burst.
I meant this macaron has vanilla frosting. This macaron has chocolate frosting.
Oh, we could totally do chocolate.
Yeah.
Would you like to do chocolate?
Or
That's
both?
That's an easy edit, yeah. That just means adding cocoa powder to the frosting. So that's easy. We also need tips for piping. Usually we only need 2, sometimes 3. But this is the size of piping tip we're going to use. Just keeps it consistent when you're making the macarons because the piping is just as important as anything else. But you stick the tip down in the bottom.
Squish it through.
Get down. And then what we'll do is we're going to cut some of that plastic off, but you have to figure out how much. So I push it all the way to the end and then I kind of then pinch it backwards and then cut right about there. And then scooch it forward again. Perfect. As long as it clears that tip, you're good to go. And what I do is I give it a twist a couple of times because we don't want it to leak out the bottom. And then put my hand inside and I grab it and I push it down to the bottom. Perfect. And then pull the edges out like that. That's good. Because that opens the bag up really well. So come check out the meringue when you have a second. See how much thicker it's looking?
Oh wow, yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. So right now it's probably at a soft peak and we're looking for a hard peak. Soft peak means when you pick up that whisk, it would swirl. Like think like a Dairy Queen ice cream cone, like a swirl. Pick it up and it's gonna go, it's gonna flop back down on itself. We want a hard peak, so when we pick it up, it's gonna just stay in its shape. So that's the goal. I think we can do our buttercream. Everything else is set to go. Buttercream is pretty simple, especially this particular kind. We're gonna do American buttercream. It's nothing too fancy. It comes together really, really fast. So I have butter over here, softening. Put those in the bowl. We'll bring our powdered sugar back out. It's that plant-based country crock. We're gonna first blend just the butter. So go ahead and grab that one.
Just all the way up?
I would start low and then see how it goes, and then you can always push it up higher, but you want to hold the bowl every time you do it.
That's really satisfying.
And then you can turn it up higher. And now you can go all the way. And we're just going to whip some air into the butter. Make it light and fluffy.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, that looks great. So go ahead and tip this back and set it down here. Perfect. And then we want about 4 cups of powdered sugar to start. So what you'll do is measure in like this. And then once you've got it full, pour it in and mix that one in and then add the next one.
Okay.
So you'll mix in between each cup. You can always measure over this bowl if that's easier. It gives you more space.
Yeah.
And we can always, it's totally fine.
Ooh, spilling.
And with powdered sugar, you don't want to press it down. You'll just kind of...
Oh yeah, because that compacts it.
Exactly. So that's good for 1 cup.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be 2.
With buttercream, there's a lot of wiggle room. Yeah. So my recipe actually calls for 4 to 6 cups, which is a wide range, but it all depends on how you scoop it, the moisture in the air that day, how soft your butter is.
Wait.
Yeah, use the spoon. So tapping it will also compact it. So go ahead and just overfill it, and then you can scrape off whatever's extra. Whitney likes to use this guy.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you're going to want to mix that in before you add any more, because otherwise it's going to go poof.
Yeah, just how high?
Start low.
Very low. Yeah.
Very low, and hold the bowl. There you go.
Oh, this is thick.
So you can turn it on higher now, and it'll be easier to start. And then you can go ahead and turn it off, and then we'll add the last 2 cups of powdered sugar. So let's add some vanilla. Because right now, all it will taste like is butter and sugar,
That's nice.
which is yummy, but not exactly what we're going for. Okay, so we are going to do a teaspoon, totally got frosting on my arm, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then a teaspoon of vanilla paste. So vanilla paste is like gelatinous, so you can use that same spoon, get in there and scoop some, and it doesn't have to be flat.
Oh, okay.
With vanilla, you measure with your heart. Yeah,
Just anything but
Perfect.
too much.
you can't have too much.
You can. It tastes like wood. It's disgusting.
Okay, go ahead and use this guy and mix that in.
On high?
Be careful because it's liquid, so it might
Oh.
splash.
Okay, so
So
lower.
just make sure that it's deep into the bowl when you get started. There you go.
Do I do it on high?
Start low always,
Right.
and then you can always turn it up as you go. So that vanilla will give us flavor. It also adds liquid, so it thins it out a little bit, which is nice. Especially
It adds the specks. I see.
It does. The vanilla bean paste has those specks. It's part of the vanilla bean pod and the seeds. So go ahead and, is it all the way on high?
Nope.
We'll whip it
Now
on
it
up
is.
for a second. That looks really good. Okay, now we have a really important job to do. It's still on, so one more down. There you go. Go ahead and set that one down. So it looks really yummy. It's a little bit on the edges that we'll scrape
Yeah.
down. But the next important part is tasting it. And flavor and then consistency to see how thin it is, because if you have too thick, it won't pipe onto your macaron very well.
Tastes delicious to me.
All right, so we can call the vanilla pretty much good.
Nice.
So now we will move on. I'm going to show you a trick when you're stirring or when you're whipping. If you raise up just a little,
Ah.
it will clean your beaters off. But if you go too high, it will fling frosting everywhere.
I've
So,
flung my fair share of things.
so with the chocolate, we are going to actually add vanilla. It gives it a depth of flavor that you're going to want. So pop that in there. And then we're going to add the cocoa. And the cocoa is a pretty strong flavor. So we're going to start small and then decide if we want to go more. So we'll start with, I think this is enough, 1/8 of a cup. So we'll use this, and I'll get you yeah, go ahead and scoop in.
I want to write down like a recipe. Vanilla, follow with your heart. Follow your heart. Wait, measure to the very last milligram. Cuckoo.
Right? Isn't it funny? Macarons, you have to measure very, very carefully, but with
Okay.
buttercream, you're like, good enough. There you go.
Come on.
Perfect. And then we'll have to give that a mix. Check our meringue is getting pretty close.
Ooh, powdery.
Hey. And then go ahead and use the back of that spoon because we're done with it. And taste test a little bit.
Consistency seems thick. Is that good?
I think it's all right. It's still pipeable. It's a little thicker than the other one because of the cocoa adds some thickness to it. What do you think? More cocoa or
Yeah, a little more.
a little more?
Sorry.
So I'm going to add about half
Yeah.
of what you added before. And then give it a really good whip on high so you can get air bubbles whipped back into it.
I think it's bubbly enough.
Nope, keep going.
Okay.
A lot of the time, if I use this mixer, I will actually just set it and leave it for like 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh, it's still going, I realized.
Yeah. And it's starting to look like it's almost ready. All right, let's see where we're at. Can use the back of that. Give it a little taste test.
Yeah.
Better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We can always add more.
I think it's good.
Okay. Go ahead and take a peek at the meringue.
Oh, wow.
See how big it got?
Yeah.
That's the best part. So we've got our frostings, and we'll put them into a bowl or a piping bag as well. See how bubbly it is when you go like this? See how there's all those little bubbles that pop? That's all that air that you whipped into them. With frosting, you can be as creative or as bland as you want to be. We can just cut straight across the piping bag and you have a circle to pipe with. Or
Frills and stuff.
you can add, you could do one like that, and you could do another one with, what's a good one? Like this one, to give it like rufflies on the edges. So you can see a lot of it's balled up in the whisk. That's how you know you're getting really close. So we are very close to being done with that. So this is what when I pull it up, see that pokey thing? That's that. We want it to stay straight up. If it were to flop back down, that we would have a soft meringue, soft peak. But we have a pretty firm peak. See how it kind of chunks out, right?
Yeah, very thick.
Believe it or not, I'm actually gonna let it go for like a couple more minutes. I don't want it to be under whipped. So I'm just gonna do another minute or so, and then we'll be ready to mix in and give you a sore arm.
Oh, fun.
The technique to mixing macarons, once you get the almond meal, is just as important as all the ingredients. This is little, but when you get it all mixed into this, what you're gonna do is cut across and then go around the edges, and then cut across and go around the edges, cut across, go around the edges, cut across.
Okay.
Over and over and over until it's all mixed in properly. And one of my recipes actually counted how many times, and it's something like between 65 and 90, depending on your batch and how you're scooping. Yeah, that's why I was like, get ready for a sore arm. The good thing is, once you get them stirred and piped, we let them sit for a little bit, and we've already made our frosting. So there's not much to do. You can take a rest. Yeah, it is. So we're gonna tap out all the meringue, and then just a second, I'm gonna hand this to you. And what we're gonna do is all of this, if you don't get all of this, it's gonna throw off your ratio, right? Remember how carefully we were measuring? So with our nice clean hands, we are actually going to wipe down.
Very clean.
Yep. And then wipe it on the bowl.
Cool. And don't have any water on your hands, right?
Yeah. You'll want to be nice and dry with the fingers. Then you could do 2 or 3 and then wipe it off so there's more on your fingers.
So thick.
And the bottom, do all of them and then go to the bottom, because it will kind of push it all towards the bottom, and then you can kind of tap it off again.
Got it.
So go ahead and tap that whisk. You want to hold the bowl.
How?
Ready? And you can actually get this in here too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with the whiskey thing. I'm gonna rinse my hands. Okay, so we'll scrape all this down.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to add,
This guy.
yep, and we do it in 3 stages. So we'll add in a third of it, and then we'll add in another half of what's left, and then we'll add in,
The rest.
yeah. So I'm gonna dump in the first part. Okay, and then I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna hand it over. So you cut across, stir, cut across, stir, cut across, stir, over and over.
Okay.
Perfect. And we're gonna add some more. And I'm just gonna do it for you so you can.
Yeah.
There you go. So cut across, stir. And what this does is cuts in without popping all the bubbles we worked so hard to make. So it stirs it into the bubbles as opposed to popping the bubbles as we're. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Bakers are strong.
The last little bit.
90 times. You just scrape this.
Yeah, totally. And then you can scrape all around the outside edge too to pull all that in. There, see how it's starting to look all
Yep.
one? That's fantastic. Keep going. Make sure all the...
Spectator sport.
You have a cheering squad.
Don't hear him.
Go, Violet! Go, Violet! You got this. They're gonna have such strong muscles at the end.
Yeah. Gonna have people take turns, maybe.
I would totally take a turn if you want a minute.
Just a few more. It's looking pretty good.
Yep, and what we're gonna go for is a lava flow off the spoon consistency. So right now when you scoop up some, it stays on the spoon. So you know you're not there. So what we're doing is slowly popping some of those bubbles to get it to just the right consistency. Oh, that's getting better.
So close yet so far.
And scrape all around your bowl and get it all incorporated. Make sure there's no little crumblies. You're doing the right thing by rotating your bowl. That's important too. Getting closer.
Melt already.
Just take the edge of my spatula and scrape all around the edges to get that nice and clean. Just to incorporate any of those little pieces. But you're doing great. This is looking pretty darn good.
I'll just do extra
So, look how close we are. We're getting so that it will actually fall off the spoon, but just not fast enough. So, do you wanna watch me do it for just
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, you're gonna do it much
Scoop.
faster.
Scrape around. All right, test it. Pull it up and see where we're at. Still not there.
What do you want? Better.
Lava flow. We're looking for lava flow
I
consistency.
know. What does the better want from me? What can I do for you?
Give it a couple stirs so you can see
Okay.
where we're at. See how it kind of is flowing back down the
Oh, yeah.
bowl? All right, now lift some up on your spatula and pour it off and see how we go. That looks pretty darn ready. Give it
One
two
more?
more.
Okay.
2 more stirs.
And 2.
Okay, and scrape it all around the bowl. Get all those edges.
Probably when I scrape, I also leave some.
I know, it's a technique. That looks pretty darn good. You scrape your spatula off and then run it with a lot of firmness on the edge. That's how you're going to get that clean bowl. So the other thing I do is collect this and work those bubbles out if I think it's just not quite there. Because you know how you do this and it pushes the bubbles out? If you go like this, it's going to push
Even
more.
Yeah.
So now we're looking good. All right, let's see. That looks amazing. That's lava. Okay, now we're gonna pour into these. So you can squirt it out onto the trays.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Can't just ball it.
It would be a little difficult to ball up
Yeah.
liquid. I'll do the first one and then I'll let you get the second one. So this probably would all fit in one, but because I want to show you while you're working, I'm going to have you do it in two. It's not a clean event making macarons.
Yeah, okay. Got that memo about half an hour ago.
Don't do it there. Do it right here where you've already got it. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, the reason is because this is going to stick to your plastic and you won't be able to get it down. Okay, we're done with that. So take your bag and remember we've opened the bottom. So the bottom will leak out macaron batter if you don't move quickly. So we're going to lift it up and get in the air, twist, and put the clip on it.
Spooky. I probably just twisted some batter out.
It's okay, you're good.
Oops. And clip.
Looks great. Okay, now I shove mine back in there and it holds it closed for us because it's squishing down on that tip, right? And then bring it on over here. I'll pipe one, you pipe one, and then when I'm done showing you, I will let you pipe all of them. There is a technique to this.
Is it technique to everything?
To all of it, yes. A couple things we're gonna watch for. Bubbles is number one. We will pipe and then we will slam the tray down and then we'll take our toothpick and pop any bubbles that we find. When you pipe right into the center and you pipe straight above it. You don't pipe this way. You go straight from the top, squeeze it out. You can either count or you can look how far it goes, and then you're gonna stop it by lessening your pressure, and you give it a little flick. And I like to twist that to get the right amount of pressure on the bag. So start in the center. When you're done, you stop and you twist. Twist. And I go to about the little dotted line. Center.
Yeah, I assumed when I saw
Twist.
the trays. It's
Right?
super handy though.
It is really handy. So we'll do the whole thing and then twist. And when we're done, what we'll do is we'll tap. It's really, really loud. And I'll probably do it a couple more times when I have the tray full. And then we'll go back and pop. And what that's going to do is help settle any peaks. And then the bubbles will sometimes burst out if you don't pop them. So you have to go back in and pop.
Twist with more pressure.
There you go. Twist. See, and it's going to keep flowing, so move to the next one.
Right.
And then go a little closer to the tray this time and make sure you're upright. And if you need a break, you can always flip your piping bag upside down.
Why do you do the little flick thing?
It stops it from flowing out because otherwise it would make like a big pokey pointy thing if you just lift it straight up. So using 2 hands is not a bad thing.
But it does give you more.
It gives you more control if you use 2 hands, but you just don't have to use pressure with both hands. More times. Excellent. Now, you take a quick glance and see if there are any bubbles. And I usually notice them because they will have to look sideways at them, kind of, because they tend to bulge. You can only pop them when this is still wet. If it starts to develop, see, there was one. If it starts to develop a skin, it's too late, because otherwise you won't be able to mix it back in like that, so you can't see it. You can also wiggle down some of the tips if they look like they're not going to flatten on their own. Not too shabby for your first ever macaron tray. So what we're going to do...
Never mind the fact that they're all different sizes, but...
You know what, though? They're really close. You have some that are small, and you have some that are like a medium size. And as long as you can pair them up to make sandwiches, doesn't matter what size they are. You can actually make minis. Some people sell mini ones. So we'll let this develop a skin. And once it has a skin, I'm gonna pop this one right here. Once it has a skin, then we will know it's ready for the oven. And you can tell it has a skin because you can touch it and it won't stick to your finger.
But then how do you know? Touch it when it's not quite there and then...
Yep, occasionally that happens. Usually you wait at least 20 minutes.
So you want like 0 bubbles?
There's different theories on that. Some people, their batter, it doesn't really matter if they pop the bubbles. Some people's batter, it does. They can cause explosions out the side if there's a bigger bubble. So you want to generally avoid them for prettier macarons. If you're putting a decoration on top, like you're drizzling chocolate or you're going to put sprinkles on, it matters way less. Or you're dusting with cinnamon, that kind of stuff. It matters a lot less. But it matters more if you want it to just be pristine and clear. All right, I'm gonna hand you that guy. You can do tray number 2.
To-do.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
If you want it to go faster, you make bigger shells. There you go.
There.
Well done. It gets a little bit of your aggression out.
Yeah.
It's only slightly problematic if your family is trying to
Can
sleep.
I? Oh.
So what we do is we let these skin over, and honestly, these ones are already starting to skin. I can touch it, and it doesn't come up on my finger. So we'll give them another couple minutes, but this will be the first batch in. I have the fan going on right now all the time, so it's blowing air, which helps them dry faster. But while we're waiting, I put the vanilla into one of them, but I'm gonna have you do the chocolate one.
Try it. Go. There you go. Just a little bit.
Awesome. Okay, and then you're gonna take your scraper and scoop some, but not all of it. And when you put it in, move that. You're gonna kind of put this into the bag and then kind of scrape it off because you want it to go as low as possible into that bag.
Yep.
Yep, it'll kind of stick. The other,
Dang.
there's a little bit of air in there still. There you go. The other way you can do it is hold the piping bag on your hand and push it directly into your hand instead of putting it on this. Let me show you real quick. You can hold it like this and you can pull this down. It's okay. This moves a lot less than our macaron batter does, so it's not going to go very far. So you can hold it like this and scrape it onto like your hand if you want to give that a try instead. See if you have more control that way. There you go.
I like that better.
Yeah, that's the tricky part is you're stuck
Downfall.
holding it. There you go. There, and then just scrape it off onto your thumb, kind of. There, perfect. And then grab the rest of it. And lift it up and over your hand. I'm gonna get you a clip.
It's a bit high up.
It is, but the good news is you have clipped open your bag, so you can squish it down, and it will fill up this space. Just don't squish it down so much that it falls out. And since you're going to be piping it, you're actually going to want to go down so that the frosting is all the way, so you can give it a little squish, because otherwise you're going to have to move the chip clip right away. Nicely done. So that is good to go. Put it upside down in the piping bag. This one's not open. You can see I have a bunch of air stuck at the bottom. When we're ready, we'll just cut this. That is it. So the only thing left to do is lick the bowl.
Yes.
So, tray.
I really hate onion.
Top shelf.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure it's kind of centered in the oven because you want even heat. And then, I can remember what it is. It's something like 18 minutes, but since sometimes these are small, so we'll start with 16 and we'll check them. How you check it is you put your finger next to it and you push the top. It'll look like a little mushroom. Push the top. If the top wiggles, it's not done. We'll put it in for 2 more minutes. If it stays, it's done, but don't burn yourself. What do we think of the macaron process so far?
Really, really, really finicky and good for perfectionists. There's way too many. There's way too many things that can go wrong.
I think she's got it down.
Yep, that's the gist. How I usually set it up is when I put this here for you to use. I go like that so that the pair is still together and do a whole bunch at once. So if you line them up on your tray, it goes faster. We made 2 different frosting flavors. The good thing is once you put them in the fridge, they soften. You leave them in the fridge for 24 hours and the shell will soften and so they become a little less delicate. Still delicate, but less.
Glass slipper gonna.
Awesome. Is that she also got a cloth in there.
Okay, perfect. Fun.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 33, 34, 35, 36,
Okay.
37, 38.
Thanks. So just like the macaron batter, to tighten it up, you can twist and have that be your second hand, so you can squeeze from up here and guide down here. You can practice on this before you do it on a cookie.
So vertical as well.
I would do vertical, and you squeeze, and then stop squeezing, and you can lift it up.
Oh.
You can also go around if you want to do a circle. It's up to you. Just depends on what you want the outside to look like. It's fairly thick frosting, so you will have to put significant pressure on it. This one, same thing, twist at the top. But we didn't put a tip on this one because we just wanted it to be round. So you squeeze at the top, and it's round-ish.
Yeah.
And then you put the lid on and squish it on. Just be careful putting the lid on because they're delicate.
Yeah.
So you can practice on this, and then and then this is totally for snacking on later.
Yeah.
There you go. So I would do one and stop, and put the lid on it and see how you like the fullness.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Put a bit much.
It's actually not a bad amount. Remember, it does kind of squish out when you bite into it.
Yeah, and then it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait.
There you go. Now just rinse and repeat 36 times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's got milk fat. It has milk in it. I wonder if she's buying a different one. This is the one. Maybe she buys dark? 'Cause that has milk in it.
I think it's interesting that she started out as a
Yeah.
country singer.
Yep.
It's unusual.
There's too many. I can't count.
Please turn out good. Yes.
And before you go on, put the lid on that one because what you're going to notice probably is that there's not quite enough frosting.
Ah.
But this has air built in because of the ridges.
Okay. Sacrificial.
I would do a bigger dollop. Nice.
This is the thing that they say when they smash the bottle at those celebrations.
Oppa. Oppa.
Mazel tov.
NHS.
Oh yeah?
She was like, "Will you vote for me if I,
Well done, Violet. Run.
run for vice?"
And this one you might twist a little more than push, and then you'll get the,
There we go.
yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, you just gotta disrupt me.
It's chocolate.
Mick Jack holds something.
Well, he was holding. We're gonna put them back in here because they need to go in the fridge.
Oh, have to wait more.
I know.
Forgot
It's a
about that.
waiting process.
Do I put them in sideways?
Yeah, we'd put them upright.
You gotta wait 24 hours, Violet.
24 hours.
Her face
They're ready tomorrow morning, midday.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Consolation prize. Oh gosh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very, 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 very much.
You're welcome. Happy to do it.